like probably around 8 to 10
Uh,
inches. I didn't even check because
yeah,
it didn't make a difference. Couldn't go nowhere.
yeah.
Mm,
Actually, I think ours was maybe 4 to 6. I don't know. It's
Where
No,
are
only
no.
you, Lista?
I'm in New York City.
All right, right. Wow.
Yeah.
That, that's hard on a whole lot of people, huh?
Yeah. A lot. Um,
hi, Charlie and Cynthia.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Dr.
Oh,
G.
What's going on?
Ooh-wee.
What?
Having
This
fun. Tell
Lista.
her daddy took the T-bird away.
I love it. Anyone with link. Okay, this should be available. Okay. We're a small group today. I hope
Yeah.
people will pop in. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be sneaky and send another email. Hold, please.
Okay. They're snowed in.
I have a question to ask you. Did you send the unit in the email to download or no?
No.
Okay.
I don't send it till after we discuss it. But if you want,
Okay, good. Then that's why I didn't see it. So I'm good. I'm
no, no,
good.
no. You have not missed anything. It is here. Um, oh, where's my brain? It's not working. Okay, let's see.
Here we go.
I should be able to view report. And yeah, not so many people opened it. Can I just send again?
When I first tried to get in, it told me that the meeting had been ended. And I thought, what? So then I tried again and I got in.
That's peculiar.
Yes, it was.
Well, here we are. Um, I didn't send out an email yesterday, which I usually do. Because we're running.
Yeah, we are.
We are running,
Yep.
friends.
We are running.
But let's get it started. View report.
Started again.
Recommend of share team. Reschedule resend right now. 27. Oh, I can't even send it. Oh, okay, forget it. Never mind. It's gonna make me work too hard to send that again. Um, you know what? Since my friend Linda is here and I'm appear to be a little bit Linda, do you want to help us breathe or something?
Sure.
You all are my
Um,
ninth call today.
Yeah, I just got off of a Zoom
Mm.
for an
I'm ready,
hour.
Linda, whenever you're ready.
sure. I have a little solidarity meditation ready. So, if we could now take some deep, slow breaths and allow our minds and bodies to relax and come to the room here. And just drop your shoulders, release any tension where you can, stretch in ways that you need to stretch,
So many ways.
in ways that create more space in your body for nourishing energy to flow from your connection to the earth and to each other, and bring your mindful attention to relaxing your body. Take 3 more deep breaths at this time. And when you inhale, spend some time thinking about all the humans you are connected to in order to sustain your life. You're welcome to think of loved ones that you know, people who provide the sustaining human connections that give our lives meaning and joy, and people you do not know whose labor is necessary for everything we need in life. As you think of these different people or groups of people with whom you are connected, you might visualize these connections as though they are in material form, threads of light, yarn, silken thread. Imagine literal lines of connection between you and these people and everyone on this call. You are part of this web, providing essential tasks and services for other people through your work, paid and unpaid, fulfilling responsibilities to the people who depend on you. At this point, I invite you to consider for a moment the power that lies in these connections. Think about what it would mean for this network you've called to mind if each of these connections represented unbreakable human solidarity and the commitment to fight for one another and fight together for the whole. That is solidarity. I invite you to ask for guidance as to how best you can build and support this kind of solidarity we all need at this time. Let's take one more deep breath, collective breath, and then come back into this room where we will talk about how freedom is a shared project, which is sustained by webs of relationship and trust. Thank you.
I knew we could count on Linda. Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you. Do you have extra ones ready now because I ask you every week?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Linda. We're going
I'm
to have to write
ready.
her a thank you note. Oh, dear. Okay. So, friends, we are moving. I was just telling the walk team that we are moving from vision into action. We are approximately 3 months and 1 week away from the walk, beginning the Freedom Walk 2026, leaving out of Maryland and walking through Philly, Delaware, Jersey, New York, and upstate New York into Canada. So that's happening. And as you know, this is all the curriculum that we've been developing since September has been in support of that walk, or this and the walk in support of this curriculum. So this is where we're hoping that we're going to see lots of solidarity events in your communities, whether they are walks or anything else. And if you do decide to have solidarity events, please do let us know about them. We will amplify the activities. The goal is to create a flurry of energy and activity and skeeters around the walk and our focus on freedom and liberation. So there's that. So today, I've given you the Freedom Walk updates. We're going to talk a little bit about fundraising, activating our networks, the curriculum, and then I think I liked what happened last time. Well, let me rephrase. I liked it, but did y'all like it? Did you all like actually breaking out into groups and working with some of the circle questions? Was that useful, folks? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, and then of course, I see that Mista has something she wants to share.
Let me explain it first, because this may not be the platform, but I just wasn't sure. There was a Pulitzer Prize winning author of the Comanche Comanche book that she wrote, and I got in touch with her publicist or whoever, and I explained to them that we don't have a budget, but if she wanted to give us some information that we could disseminate at our event in New York, that would be great. And Tony thought it was a great thing if we could get her on board. But she just wrote me back, and I just read it about 15 minutes ago, and that's what I wanted to share with you, because this kind of thing is not my wheelhouse, really. So
you want to share the email?
yeah, I wanted to share the email that she sent.
I think I'm not following.
Yes, I want to share the email.
Right, but when the email's about what exactly?
I asked her about being a keynote speaker, if the author would be a keynote speaker. Hold on a second. Her name is.
So this is just her communicating with you about becoming a keynote speaker. I'm just trying.
No, I looked her up because someone told me about Comanche Harriet Tubman, the Comanche River Raid, and the Black Freedom during the Civil War, and feels she is an award-winning Pulitzer Prize winner, Dr. Etta Fields Black. And I wondered if she would be interested in speaking at our event in New York. And I told them we didn't have a budget. And so she wrote me back, and she said she'd love to chat about this. Do you have availability this week for a quick Zoom call? So that's what I had wanted to share, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I do good with this kind of thing. And I don't want to lose her interest. So that's what I was going to be talking about. That's
So are
what I-
you sharing it with me? Or are you sharing it with the other leader? That's what I'm still lost. Sorry.
Yeah, so if everybody that looks at it, if you got something you can help me with, you could email me or, give me some pointers.
Why
So
why don't you actually send that to Linda and Venetia, who are our community activation leads?
we'll definitely do that. Linda and Venetia.
Hmm.
Okay. I'll forward it all to them.
Linda's on this call, but and I assume that you've met Venetia before.
Yeah, I know. Linda Davis, I don't have your.
She's
I don't
on
know
some of
why.
those emails. Here, I'll just
I
email.
Okay,
I can put it in the
Just-
chat for me and Venetia's emails.
Can you actually email her, Linda? Can you email not Moira,
Mister. Yeah, email me, and that way I can always, have your email right there. I don't have to worry about
Okay,
copying the chat, and I'll send it to you.
okay, great.
Delightful. Okay. Is that you're good, Mister?
I'm good.
Okay, excellent. I have this sense, and maybe, well, I'm just gonna go with it. I kind of want to check in with you all and see how you're doing in the midst of, the crazy in the world and the regime's insistence that we are not seeing what we are seeing. And so I just want to know, like, we can take. I kind of feel like at this moment you all are old hat at the curriculum, and we don't necessarily need to go through every single piece of it. I would like to spend some time with the questions at the end. Um, but let's check in. Can we do that? And maybe we can give her, there are about 16, 14 of us, 15 of us. Maybe we can, if everyone takes approximately 1 minute, maybe 90 seconds, we can spend some time on this. Does that feel okay for everyone? Okay, so I'm just gonna put names in the chat. Also, there's the link. We're now fundraising for the walk, but I'm gonna we'll hear from Charlie, Rosalind, and then Linda. And then I'll put the rest of the names in the chat as well.
Charlie, you're muted.
He's trying to come off mute. He's trying. Hold on.
Hear me?
Yes, we can.
It's my turn, I take it.
It is your turn.
We have streamlined to a certain degree the curriculum. We spend quite a bit of time on those questions because they're so far-reaching, they're deep, and at times they're a bit confusing. But the last time the Unit 5 came out, I believe you ran the whole thing through an AI system. And believe it or not, it helped a great deal, giving us an idea, at least for me, how to approach those questions. And we spend a fair amount of time in that circle, understanding the question, understanding ourselves. And yeah, the questions are wonderful. I ran 2 through an AI system and I couldn't believe what I got back.
I think I need to understand what you mean by what you ran the circle question through an AI
I
processor.
ran one through to get an idea what a machine would tell us about a deep seated question. And my goodness, who? 5 pages on a question.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. But we do enjoy the circle and the questions, and we like to keep it up.
Excellent. Thank you. And do you have a check-in about just the world and its state at the moment? Or is there anything you want to say about that?
About the state of the world.
You know, how we're sliding into fascism.
Yeah.
Not that I have a clear thought about it. Sorry.
apparently.
Oh, I could spend another hour or two telling you what's going on, yeah, between our questions and coming out through the news. But it's, I'd rather not to do that right now.
Okay. All right. No problem. All right, thank you, Charlie. Appreciate you. So then we'll hear from Rosalind, Linda, and then Mista.
So what's the question again? I'm sorry.
That's a good question. I'm just really wondering, where is your heart? How are you standing? Like, I mean, are you holding it
Oh.
together? Or just what do you need to share with the group? That was 6 questions.
I need to share with the group that I need to share with the group the word trigger. I spoke to a UU congregation last Sunday, and I found myself in a place of having to bring that up if there were one word that would describe how I felt. And what I want to say is that what I said to them, that the triggering I'm feeling is watching what is going on and saying, we've been here before. I wasn't necessarily there, being young, but at the same time, it's around and around. So I go from not wanting to miss a teachable moment in having conversations with individuals who oh God, I don't know how to say it. Like, you could be in conversation and say, okay, well, to me, the pepper spray is like being hosed down, or the asking for papers is like, where are your papers, being snatched away and nobody knows where you are, these kinds of things. No rights, nobody cares. They don't care whether, that kind of thing. So it's kind of like, I'm just holding a space for understanding that it seems to me that we're the kind of society that unfortunately seems to have really bad things happen on everybody to come up to the next level of what the hell are we doing? Where's the love? Why are we here? And as awful as it is for the nurse Preti, who got killed, murdered. The boy was murdered. The thing is, I felt in my heart that there was a sacrifice of sorts, like Martin Luther King's purpose was a sacrifice. I see it as what comes out of that because of what he represented. And then at the same time, where was that when the young Black man got killed, in September? It's kind of what makes us react. And at the end, I really feel sorry for the Minnesotans, having been there, for our gathering and the first No Kings March, and to see what they're going through, because they're just a truth-telling state that's being punished. It makes me sad as well.
Actually, thank you, Rosalind. Ella, Rosalind.
Yeah, either one.
Okay. So Linda, Denise, and then Karen.
Yeah, thank you. And Rosalind, I'm feeling that same way. And I keep bringing up articles connecting the dots and repeating one that says, ICE is what happens when America refuses to learn from Black history. And it's by Jamar Tisby, and it's an excellent video. And it's really frustrating. And the other thing, I have a both and type of thing. I'm glad to see the resistance, and the resistance is growing, and that more and more people are getting it. and that is especially in Minnesota, there were so many groups that organized after George Floyd's murder. They're now prepared, and they've organized neighborhood to neighborhood, and they have a web. That's what I was thinking of with my opening meditation, the solidarity web that people have built to resist, that goes back as long as the country was formed. And it's part of what we're doing now on this year of liberation. And it's really wonderful to have more and more and more people fighting back. And it's growing. And more people are getting it. Although late, they're getting it. And they're fighting back. So I'm frustrated and I'm also hopeful. Thank you.
What was the name of the video, if you don't mind?
Sure, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, thanks.
Like Ella said, back when communism was they were getting rid of all of the communists in the United States. I wasn't alive, but this sort of reminds me of that. And we came out of that. I know we will come out of this. I don't know how unscathed we will be. But I do feel like, and I don't know if he's aware of this or not, but he's bringing us closer together and making us be more aware. Just when the World Trade Center happened, we were cohesive for about a couple of months, and then that petered out. I'm just praying that this does not peter out. And if it took all of this for white America to see what we were saying all along was happening, to you, it seems like he's
It's not him.
he's making it a totalitarian state or whatever. This has been what we lived under for most of our lives and our ancestors' lives. So, in a way, when it came to the killing of two white people, and the first one, you know, she was a lesbian. So there was some that might say, well, he didn't like lesbians, so that's why that happened. But this man was a simple nurse, and they're still trying to make him something that he wasn't, which was what has been happening to us all along. We need to really keep this in mind, but also keep in mind that what we are doing in this freedom walk is we're going to be reaching a lot of people, a lot of different people. And we're going to be teaching history and showing the strength that we all need now that they had back then. And so this makes me feel good about that. But what really happens is what's happening in my life, in my personal life. And I always often wonder, is that why things didn't happen as quickly as they should have back then? Because they were just killing Black people. They weren't killing everyone. Anyway, I always have that belief that we are going to overcome this too. We just have to stay aware, and we have to do what we have to do. And I look around here and see all of you, and I know there's other people like us. We just need to grab them and get them all. You know, we need to unite everybody. Thank you.
Well, I guess I'm next. I of course, like everybody, am just devastated by these murders, and I think about the people that got murdered, and I feel so sorry and such grief, like I almost knew them. And also, I am aware too that that's what our Black brothers and sisters have had to endure, this kind of crap for hundreds of years. And I want to try to, in my mission as a white person wants to try to reach out to other white people and have them understand this, the history and all. I feel like I can probably make some use of how they felt seeing this happen to
That's
other
right.
white people. And
Mm.
and that's what I'm thinking I'm going to try to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Sarah, and then Cynthia, then Courtney.
So just before we met, I met with my white affinity group. We meet every month. And this was top of mind for everybody, of course. And what I realized, my body started feeling different almost from the beginning, just seeing everybody on the screen and then hearing everybody's stories, all the different things people are doing, how they're taking care of themselves and each other. And so it's coming home to me how community is how I'm surviving it, by reaching out to people. When something happens, I reach out to people and talk about it and connect with them. My sister's caught in the weather in Pennsylvania, and all of her neighbors came out and shoveled her walk and put down salt and made it safe for her to take her dog out to go to the bathroom, all those things. And I just kept thinking of neighbors, and that's what's happening in Minneapolis. And so I also feel like Mista, feel like this is going to change and get better. But yeah, the collateral damage in the meantime is pretty horrible. And also we white people take a lot to wake up, and it's shameful, and I'm glad there's some awakening happening. I'm done.
Thank you, Sarah.
Well, for those of you who know, I'm in the midst of it all. It's my backyard. I've been close by there all the time. In fact, tonight I'm going to go after this and go to the memorial, and meet some friends there to do that. I'm doing okay today. And Saturday was my birthday, so that was really a strange birthday to have. You know, and but the amount of community networking on the ground has been amazing. This shared sense of horror, threat, fear is finally translatable when talking about racial justice and other justices. And so, in my church, just started, had added a new committee called the Justice Ministry Committee. And so there are like 5 different layers, and we know they all intersect. But we presented this Sunday, which was an interesting time to present it this Sunday. And so I brought all my passion to this. And I said, for the mostly white congregation, I said, now don't forget what you're feeling now. Do not forget what you're feeling now, because that is what you need to remember when you are talking about racial justice, LGBTQ justice, gender justice, all these justices. You need to remember what it feels like, and not just let it go and let it be done. So I found it very insightful. And if anybody watched the Saturday Night Live sketch about the PBS sketch, it's perfectly puts it right there, like when the white reporters are saying, this has never happened, da 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 da, and the 2 black reporters are like, It's worth the watch because it's a funny way to actually say the truth of what's happening. So if you need something lighthearted to really share what that looks like, the Saturday Night Live sketch from this last week is really good. All right. With that, I will pass to whoever's next.
Thank you. As you all may know, it's been a while. I'm Courtney. I'm kind of like the group leader de facto because I'm still organizing a group between Atlanta and Athens area. Um, a couple of things really resonate in regards to what's going on now. So, if most of you probably don't know, but the way that I found my way here to coming to the table was because of the ministry that we have been operating for the last 5 years or so, which is my husband and I, which is called Plantations for Reparations. And I was connected to the group by Tamara Sheely Johnson, who was running as a state representative here in Georgia. And I found my way back to coming to the table because of cost of inheritance. So just it's one thing to read about these, issues or to read about these happenings, and it's another thing in its entirety to sit in the middle of it and to deal with it from day to day, and to have to still work along colleagues and people that for sure do not give a dang where your next meal is coming from,
Right.
where you're going to lay your head, and I can say that with all intense purpose, because as a former elected official, I can also let you know that that responsibility is not going to be carried out by the government. It is going to take groups, community, and I dare say it, we call them villages. Villages to me are more intentional than just the neighborhood or community where you happen to reside. Um, I'm hopeful to see more of that, but I have to be quite honest. I think, and again, I'm living in the middle of it with Georgia being, as many of us know who follow history, one of the most egregious sites for racial injustice, whether it was by physical, which is terrorizing with lynching, or forced labor convict camps that built up the University of Georgia in Athens, or intellectual property stolen, which withdrew by way of the agricultural system, and then which my husband or my family and I have been a victim of deed theft. We were victims of that and are still going through and trying to get housing. So you like I said, I want to remain hopeful, but for all intents purposes or reality around me, I believe that there are a whole lot of people that rather feel bad about it than do something great about it. And with that, I yield. Thank you.
Thanks, Courtney. Let's hear from Tom, Lee, and then Kathy.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, I think first I just want to give you a little explanation and of a small group that's developed, including myself, 4 people, but for lack of a better term, it's a wake up and check in group, and started with a little confusion when nobody could get hold of me one morning for a perfectly good reason, but inspired one of the members to start a what has turned out to be a texting quick meeting just to be sure everybody is up and okay, and that has paid off, with the weather mess that we're in here in north central North Carolina. We are a lot better off than some people, and but still we're not used to walking around on ice all the time and that sort of thing. So that's another good reason to be checking in. But you know, we are finding that there's a lot more reasons to stay in close touch than what we've always done. And one of the things is that we've been passing back and forth among us, especially one other one and I, some of the excellent articles that are coming out and that deal with these situations, like in Minneapolis and of course lots of other places in the country, but right now that's the hot spot. And we are given that a lot of thought and publicity among ourselves. I'll mention also that just like Cynthia's church was that she described, ours has been having a race and grace group, which is not a small group. We just about busted out the walls of the original church building, the old, what we now call the chapel, and had to move to a largest room we've got other than the sanctuary itself, and to fit everybody in, you know, to discuss racial history in this city, Greensboro, and the church's role in it, and how we responded to white flight, and we, you know, basically when the neighborhood where the original church building was the racial makeup of it was obviously changing. I think first they moved the manse, and then the whole church just picked up and moved to a different part of town, which, you know, was closer to where a lot of the members were resettling. But, you know, at the same time, it took that church away from that location, and it's not a part of our history to be proud of, but we have tried to make connections every which way, and do some good in other parts of the city, as well as where we physically sit. So that's an ongoing proposition, and will not be completed in my lifetime, or maybe anybody else's that's living now. And on top of that, we are bringing in a new, have just brought in a new minister, who I sure hope they told about this history before she took the position, but she will hear a lot about it now because she's only missed 2 of the sessions of this, I think 5 sessions of Race and Grace. So we just have a lot on our plate there, and I think when I can, I'm going to try to meet with the committee that's leading that, and see how we can bring that together. We made the trip to the what we call the Underground Railroad tree out in the back of Guilford College, and I think I sent Dr. G a picture of that group. And that's something that would be well worth doing again. We're obviously not on the part of the Underground Railroad that the present effort is focusing on, but you have to start somewhere, and so that is what we're trying to do. Okay, next, please.
Thanks, Tom. We're from Lee, Kathy, and then Buzz.
All right, I'll try to keep it brief. Hi, everybody. I'm really glad to be here. Grateful for coming to the table and everybody's commitment. So where I am is sad and good and mad and trying to be productive with that. And specifically, what I've been thinking about, I am the facilitator for our next chapter meeting here in San Francisco, Oakland, and we are going to be focusing on Unit 3. And we use a lot of flexibility in our meetings when we have something planned, but there's a huge national or even a local event that people need to express their feelings about and touch base with is what Giovanni is helping us to do today. And I've been thinking about how to integrate where people are in the minute as we continue through working through the program in the year of liberation and specifically the Underground Railroad and Tony Cohen's walk and ours walking with him as an organization. So and I was hoping to get some ideas of that, but we're pretty good about being flexible and being in the moment and rising to the occasion in our chapter. So I know I'm going to be able to do that with other members of our chapter. But the last thing I say in terms of where I am and what I'm really grateful for is that one thing that, the first pillar of our organization is uncovering history. And I think that in uncovering the history, the ugly history of this country and slavery really should prepare us for this moment and that this isn't anything new. Unfortunately, it's taken the martyrdom of this white cis male to wake some people up. But I think many of us whose families have lived this history and have multi-generational trauma, and those of us who are white who have read this history and know about the reigns of terrors of the KKK and the red shirts after Reconstruction and the rise of radical white supremacy after Reconstruction know exactly what this is about and know why it's happening. And history repeating. So I think that's why I feel like it's really, really essential for us to keep doing that. That's our wheelhouse here. That is what we do. And I feel like our continuing to do that and putting what's happening today into historical context, as well as rising to the moment and meeting it with peace and love and working towards racial justice is really important. And I've been in many organizations, but never one that does all of that together. And so I'm really glad that I'm here and learning from all of you. And I feel like we have an incredible foundation to stand on and meet the moment. And I couldn't do it without you. So that's all from me and happy to pass it on to Barbara.
Well, actually, no, it's going to Kathy, Buzz, and then Barbara.
So yeah, I think the problem of being toward the end is you want to say everything yes to everything that everybody said. But yeah, I'm feeling some of the same, I think, in both hope, horror, ambivalence about what seems to be waking people up and what that says about what it takes to wake people up, but at least maybe they're waking up. Also the connections with another thing that sort of got lost in the horror of what just happened in Minneapolis is the lesser but very real outrage of the removal of the slavery exhibit in Philadelphia from the Washington House site, which really is just erasing history. So that's the opposite of what we're about, right? And yes, the whole business of family separation and people trying to navigate keeping their families together in very complicated legal circumstances is definitely resonating. I'm reading one of the biographies of Harriet Tubman, or rereading, I'm not sure, and just that is definitely resonating. And separation of families and all that. So there's a lot that connects, and I think I'm in my usual place, at least, of realizing I'm one person with a certain amount of time and energy and certain talents, and trying not to feel hopelessly pulled in 60 different directions, and instead try to figure out what I can most usefully do with the time and the energy. I try to do something or a couple of things well, rather than being completely paralyzed by thinking of so many things I should be doing. So I think that's where I am at the moment. I will pass.
And I apologize, Barbara, you were after Lee, but you moved on my screen. That's what happened. I don't know what happened there. So let's hear from Barbara and then Buzz. I apologize.
Kathy, I can identify with your how to get focused rather than being pulled in so many different ways, because it seems like it reminds me of thing 1 and thing 2 and the Dr. Seuss thing there is all over the place. Right now, though, I'm feeling vigilant. And that's because we all know that it will eventually come to our town, city, village, whatever. But I think it is where I am. I'm in South Florida, Palm Beach County, the bluest county in Florida. And to me, there's already signs that we are closer to the visit than might be broadcast everywhere else. And that is, they're suddenly accusing Palm Beach County of election fraud. And that is usually the stone that has to be rolled away for them to come in. So I don't want to say I'm used to or I expect it, but it's just more extreme what is happening. That we've always tried to call it something else, or, oh, this happened, but it's like a one-time thing, rather than seeing a pattern and a web being formed. We're finally recognizing it. And I really have faith in the people now that this reaction, even if they say it doesn't last that long, the effects of it, I think, will be very, very effective and will move us much further forward than we would have moved otherwise. That's it for me.
Hi, this is Buzz. Good to see familiar faces and others. I do hear you all. Appreciate it a great deal, your sharing. I know some people in Minnesota, and I know what they're doing. And one of them, by the way, is someone who helped organize the St. Paul chapter down up there that helped organize last summer's meeting that I was able to touch base, and she was on the ground. So it strikes home in that sense. I just want to say that I think all of us know that this is a very scary place to be. And we're very lucky in 2026 to be able to focus upon the Freedom Walk. I think that's going to help us a great deal and going to be very interesting. Thanks. That's all for me.
So let's hear from Dee and then Renee.
I don't know if anybody can see me, but I look kind of blurry. Good evening, everyone. I have heard what went on in Minneapolis. I'm not surprised. This president has always stated what he was going to do, and he is doing it with no consequences and no oversight. I always say, white America, welcome to the Black experience, because this has been going on for us for a long time. And most white Americans have been oblivious to it, because what happens to Black America eventually is going to happen to everybody else. So I always say, wake up, everybody. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, Dee. And Renee, you want to close us out today? Well, this part.
Well, I'm so sorry I was late. I don't know what the question was, but it sounds like everybody's just updating with where they're at.
That was exactly the question.
Feeling it too. I'm in California. I don't have it on my thing, but I'm in Southern California, couple hours from LA, east. I've been feeling hopeless sometimes, and then I hear something that makes me hopeful. I really appreciate hearing all your voices. I have in my family, I have everything from social activists to rednecks. I got the whole gamut. And what's been interesting to me is to see those people who were so supportive of Trump and this administration posting things all the time and always pro, to erasing every picture that they had on their Facebook page, and rolling that back, you know. And these were cousins that, like my brother has he's half white and half Black, but his white brother, they have the same mom, has children that are half Latin, half El Salvadorian, but they grew up white. They grew up in Northern California, and they had a different attitude, very conservative before this. And one particular was hanging on to the conservatism. I think it was because of her spouse, but she has erased all of those pictures. She's not saying I'm sorry, but she is supporting everyone. And the other sisters are vocal. They are doing it. They're protesting, they're writing their senators, they're doing it. So when I hear that, it makes me hopeful. And the family that is half Black and that lives that life has been telling them for years, it's not the same thing. You know, we don't live in the same world. We have different experiences because, you know, my husband had a big afro and his brother had long blonde hair, you know. So anyway, so that's hopeful. Erasure. I know Dr. Joy DeGruy, and she's talking about erasure being violence. It's a form of violence to try to erase our history. And I agree with the person in the chat who says it can't be erased. We won't let it. And I do have a lot of people that are going back to, including our Coming to the Table group here in the LA area, going back to history and reading a lot. A lot of us are reading a lot about the Nazis and what they did, how that rolled out, and making comparisons to what's happening in our cities here. LA has been dealing with it for a while. I'm so sorry for the Minnesotans that are going through this. It's just horrific. I have a Mexican son-in-law, and my little granddaughter is half Mexican, and I want a different world for her. I will do whatever. So I'm trying to also grasp, what is it that I can do? I feel like I want to protect my son-in-law and his family and what's happening with them. I told them they should get burner phones and, you know, so they can't be tracked, and seeing what I can do to support that way. And at the same time, making sure that this moves forward quickly, that we don't stay in this space and thousands of people have to die before we wake up. Thank you.
Okay, well, good job, y'all. Let's take a deep breath. Maybe 3. Take a second one. And a third one. Okay. I don't remember at this point who it was. Perhaps it was Lee who said something, it wasn't my intention to model something that you could do in your own groups, but here it is, right? I don't think people need much of a prompt to talk about where they're at. It doesn't have to be complicated or complex. And it's also really important. People need a place to be heard. They need a place to be held and a place to be seen. And of course, you're going to have varying experiences because your groups are, there's diversity in your groups. And I think the job that you all have stepped up for is to hold that diversity of experience, right? Even if it's uncomfortable. So good job. We did it. That definitely took a little longer than I anticipated because 1 minute per person. That didn't work. But I think it's great that we said all the things. So let me make just a couple of announcements before we go into the curriculum. Our next local group meetings are February 24th and March 24th. I will send emails about them, but you can put them on your calendar now. In February 24th, we're going to be delivering 2 units. And in March, on March 24th, we're going to be delivering 3 units. So those will take you all the way through July. And then in July, I think we deliver the August. I think that's how it works. That's correct. So in February, you'll get March and April. And in March, well, it's whatever those unit numbers are. I don't know what they are. 7 and 8, and then 9, 10, and 11 in March. That's what they would be. It just feels almost like folly to try to go into the curriculum. I think what I'd like to do is just trust that you all will read the curriculum, and I'm going to bring in the questions and maybe send you off into a couple of breakout groups. This Unit 6 is it's called From Shadow to Record, When to Disappear and When to Be Seen. And the focus is how discernment around visibility, knowing when to remain unseen and when to bear witness, makes freedom sustainable. So the questions, and there are many, I think there are 10 questions. I'm going to put them in the chat. You do not need to deal with all 10 of these questions. They're grouped by, they're categorized. We have some visibility and safety, discernment questions, witness and humanity, roles and liberation, healing and choice. And so the invitation I'd like to make to you, everyone doesn't need to answer the same question. Take a look at these questions. You can take them with you to your breakout rooms. There are 12, 13, 14, 15. There are 12 of you. So I will put you in 4 groups of 3, and we'll take about, I'm going to say 15 minutes. And everyone can answer whichever question they like. And so everyone has, 3 or 4 minutes to respond to one of these questions. Does that sound fair? Or does that sound clear? I don't know if fair is the right word. Is that clear? Okay, cool. Let's make the breakout rooms. Y'all, I had a plan and this was not it. So just go with me. 4. Okay. My Fathom note taker does not need to go with you. I'm going to put you in room 4, Linda. And then, so there's one group that has, I guess I did bad math. One group has 4 people, so just be cognizant of your time in there. I will come in and drop the questions again so you don't have to rush to write them down or anything. And here you go. Let's take the
Hello.
Hello, it looks like we did get the Fathom no finger.
That's our 4.
Fair enough. Hopefully it's friendly.
Mhm.
These are great questions. There are a lot of them, though.
Well, all I can say is living in the midst of the activity right now, not knowing when to be in shadow, when to not. I mean, I'm not an activist protester, like we'll go out, do the whistles. But I have a lot of people and friends that do. I'm more the support role for people to be out there and remind people to do self-care, but it's also, but I do need to speak up in the places where I can speak up. And so that's, yeah, it's a balance. It's a balance, and also being white, like am I being too cautious because I'm white? Am I being too cautious because that's the type of person I am? So like all those questions I just keep, um, keep wrestling with. And also because my partner's black, and so he's going through it too, and this was the most worried he'd ever been this last weekend. I've ever seen him worried about stuff. And so and he's an African black, so he's from Africa, so that's a little bit different.
Right back out of it.
Hey, they did. We're
It's
back.
like it's like Scotty beaming us up, right?
Yeah, whether you want to go or not.
I'm trying to get my little negative timer out of there. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we have about 12 minutes, maybe 11. I have a hard stop at 5:30, or at your 8:30, or your 7:30, or your 6:30. But I would love to hear, maybe from one, perhaps 2 people from each group. We want to talk about maybe what rose to the surface. Let's hear from group 1, who was Mr. D and Karen.
Okay, what we spoke about was when to speak and when not to speak. And we agreed we should not ever not speak, because we need to always be speaking. One of the things that I brought out was because they're now killing white people, and white people may be more afraid to speak if this keeps happening, because white people have a different kind of fear. We have had fear for 400 years. We deal with it. We have sacrificed. We will die for freedom that you never had to fight for. Right now, you do have to die for your freedom. That's basically, and if there's anything anyone else wants to add, we just have to remember that we have to stay united. If y'all get scared and y'all put your heads back into the ground, then they've won. We can't have that.
Amen.
Karen got an amen.
Amen.
Okay. Thank you. Let's go to room 2, which was Charlie, Renee, Ella, and Sarah. I'm just gonna pop over and close that door. It's cold.
You don't know cold. This is cold in New York.
I don't know
Not
cold.
come to DC Metro region. It's cold here too.
Yeah,
I'm
they
a
wanna hear from us
weather baby.
Californians.
I'm a weather baby. I admit it. It's 63 degrees. It's cold.
Oh, please,
wow.
baby girl, talk about five.
Have the heat on the East Coast.
So can
Renee,
we hear
you
from
want to-
Charlie, Renee, Rosalind, and Sarah? Does someone want to talk about what rose to the surface? What came up for you all? No one's speaking. We just
Okay, I'm just
you
gonna
have to
say that
speak.
what came up is, let me see. I'm gonna say probably identity came up.
Can you say maybe one or two more sentences about it?
Well, we talked about when was visibility safe and not safe. I think that was the question. We talked about who holds your story until you're ready. And I don't remember the other. But the point is one wanted to know how the other felt, and one took offense for even asking the question, thinking that he was out of line to ask it. But then when she found out that, oh no, the Black people that he asked how did they feel about, they were forthcoming, so there was an apology on that. Oops. And the end of it was that I said to Renee about when is it safe or not safe, that when I first met her in a small box and heard her talking, I thought that she was Hispanic. To understand that she is an African American woman and how much potentially in danger she could be because she looks Hispanic, especially in this environment where people are being snatched and pulled and killed for mistaken identity. And I included the pretty young man who could have been mistaken for being a Middle Eastern terrorist because of his dark beard and his dark hair. You know, it's the stereotype. And so that's, anybody else want to say something, please, in the group?
I think these questions are actually super salient, right, to what's happening right now, especially around visibility. So I'm glad that y'all are grappling with this.
I just want to say real quick, that's why when Martin Luther King's comment, an injustice to one is an injustice to all. We don't have, we're not safe. One culture isn't safe, then no one is.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, great. You guys are grappling. I appreciate it. Let's go to room 3, which was Barbara, Bull. Oh my God, I'm sorry, y'all, my brain. Barbara, Buzz, and Lee. What rose to the surface for you all?
We each took a different question. I talked about being in the shadow, when it is best to be in the shadow and when not to. And I spoke about being a retired New York City Police Department police officer. Facing danger, I don't like danger. And faced with danger, I am ready to go into the shadows. As a police officer, you were not permitted that. Danger meant you had to come out into the open. And after 20 years of that, I haven't been put in the position where I have to opt for shadow or coming out in the open, being open. Right now, I feel, given that if there's a danger to me, I would opt for shadow, but I hope and I think I would not do that if I had to leave someone else in danger.
Ashe. Thank you, Barbara. Buzz or Lee, want to add anything?
I just have to make the point that everyone knows perfectly well, is that we white males don't think that much about danger as we tread through the world. Even though I've been a soldier, even so.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Okay. Let's hear, you're good, Lee?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Let's hear from Kathy, Cynthia, my Fathom note taker, and Linda. What rose to the surface for you all? What was up for you guys?
I think we talked about roles and choosing roles that sort of fit our talents. And that's part of being visible or being in shadow at various times. I know that was one of the themes. Other themes, people? Linda, Cynthia?
I think I think we have a lot of, well, at least I'm introverted, Kathy's introverted. So, it's like, the types of way of being, visible and in shadow. Like I'm more visible in more intimate settings, like so where I have connections, than I am like in the largest, like I'm not out in the protests. That's not me. I will never be out there. But so what does that mean for what my role is? And so the role of like making sure people are taking care of themselves, that healthiness, that being healthy, and stopping and resting, and so being that reminder, that kind of caretaker. So knowing where I fit and not feeling bad about that I'm not where everybody else is.
I have an unassailable explanation. Would you like to have it so you can borrow it? Would you like to hear it?
Yeah.
I could say because I'm not a protest in the street person. It's not my ministry. That is the line.
I like that.
Argue with it. It's not my ministry. Take it as you will. Linda, did you want to add something?
Sure, just that it's important, as white people who are at less risk to be able to take the risks and continue taking them, knowing that it is risky, but it's less risky for us, and that there's times when we need to be out there and visible, and there's times when we need to be behind the scenes.
Okay. Y'all, I think we did an excellent job today. I hope.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's what I think. What do y'all think? Let's go. We have one more minute. Let's do I'm going to call your name. We're going to say like a word, 3 words, what you're taking with you today. Cynthia, what are you taking with you today?
Community.
Awesome. Kathy, Sarah, then Lee.
I think also community.
Ashe, I'll take it.
Community.
Okay. Lee?
Hope.
Hope, community and hope. And then Denise, Rosalind, Ella, and Linda.
Solidarity.
Sorry. Solidarity.
Unity.
Community. Linda, Charlie, and then Barbara.
Solidarity.
Charlie?
Excited.
Excited? I love it. Barbara, Karen, Renee, and then Buzz.
United.
Okay.
Encouragement.
Renee and then Buzz? Oh, I feel like Renee is frozen. Yeah.
Renee is muted.
She's also frozen to me.
Oh, yeah.
Buzz, what are you taking with you?
Resist.
You all are doing excellent work. So I'm traveling tomorrow to set up and host for the West Coast trauma training, STAR training. So you will get a recap. It just may not be tomorrow. I'll try to get to you by Friday. I will post the chapter, the unit today on our website. I'll post it here again so you can have it. But it will come. It's coming. It just probably will not come tomorrow. The recap. Oh, Renee, did you want to tell us your word before we go?
Just the idea that whatever I do to serve is service to this cause. And that like I love the protesting is not my ministry. Thank you.
There's a lot of things that aren't my ministry. That's just one of them. But it's
Dr. G, before you go,
Yes.
I want to say I wish the other members of my steering committee were here for this one. Of all the meetings that we have had, this one, I felt, and I feel really connected to this group. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Shay.
Do it again. Do it again.
Yeah.
It
thank
will
you.
in
You all
4
give me
weeks.
hope.
In
Thank
4
you,
weeks.
Barbara.
Okay, we'll see you all.
Bye-bye,
Thank you
everyone.
all.
Bye.
Be
You
safe
be
out there.
safe, guys.
Peace,
Be safe.
baby.
Bye.
Peace. Bye.
Be safe.
Justice.